All right, it's Monday. Welcome, everybody. We've hit 1,001 subscribers as of this morning. Thank you for following, for subscribing, for watching, for giving me such great feedback. I really appreciate those of you out there who are watching and who are learning, I guess, from watching some of the things that I talk about and are opening up your minds. And I guess that's why we're here. I don't know. I'm kind of trying to figure out what this channel is as I go by doing these daily vlogs. But one thing that I really like doing is talking to people and connecting with people, and in some way by doing that helping other people and also helping me, because we learn from each other. But I think you're getting more glimpses of who I am as a person and things that I never really got to talk about if you ever watched me on television. It is interesting though, near the end of working on MTV with Phoebe and I actually got the opportunity to talk like this on camera on MTV News and talk about our lives and talk about our dreams and talk about our challenges. And it's interesting now that here I am on YouTube doing that, which is why today I want to talk about how do you do what you love. Now, doing what you love is something that I actually always thought about from the time I was really young. I remember being in, I guess, junior high, really thinking that I was going to make it a priority for me to do what I love in life in terms of a job. I always looked very far ahead into the future, and I always envisioned what I would be like when I was 20, 25, 30, and pretty much where I am right now and who I am right now is exactly what I did envision of myself back when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And in high school, I finally realized that what I wanted to be was a Much Music VJ. So not everybody watching this channel knows me from television, but some of you do. And so the only reason I started thinking about this today was because the MMVAs were last night. It got me thinking just about my past. I mean, it is my past. And because some of you left very nice comments on Twitter and Instagram about how you miss Much Music and you wish I was on the MMVAs and all that stuff. Thank you. Although I can honestly say, thank God I was not at the MMVAs this year, because physically and emotionally and mentally, I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. I was just done with it, you know? So every time a challenge happens to you, it is always 150% a blessing. And me leaving Much and MTV was a blessing. And I knew it at the time. I knew it the day, you know, they handed over me my paperwork and said that you're not working here anymore, that I was like, I'm really stoked actually, and I had to kind of contain my excitement because everyone else was really sad about losing their job. Anyway, I held that dream about being a Much Music VJ in my mind from the time I was in grade 9 until I finally got the job. How do you do what you love? Well, first you have to kind of figure out what it is you love, right? And I remember that growing up, even as a child, a very small child, I loved watching television. When you watch TV a lot, people kind of think it's a bad thing, like you shouldn't watch television because it rots your mind. But I learned everything I know from watching television. And I didn't care what anyone else said. I was like, it'd be really cool to somehow get paid to watch television for a living. I thought that when I was really young, and then I put it out of my mind because what kind of job could you actually get paid to watch TV, right? And then when I was in high school, that's when I started to become obsessed with music and bands and artists, and I started to really admire what artists were doing, because I wasn't a musician and I couldn't sing and I couldn't play an instrument, but I wanted to be around those people and around that energy and around that creativity, but I didn't know in what way until I realized that I could work in the music industry. And at that same time, I was watching Much Music in high school, and I was obsessed with it. Here I was watching television, some person was talking to me and making me feel like I was actually cool and not a total loser. And so I wanted to be that person when I was older to do that for somebody else. The first part of doing what you love is actually identifying the things that you love, regardless of whether or not they're actual jobs. So don't think about what is an actual job right now, because you can make it a job. You can turn it into a job because you have the power and you have the smarts to be your own boss and to make whatever it is you like into a viable paying job. So if you like watching Much and you want to be on TV, that's amazing. You've identified what you love. You probably are like me, and you like talking, you want to connect, you feel like you have something inside you that you want to get out, and television would be the best platform for you to do so. May I make a suggestion and just say that here we are now, we're on YouTube. Anyone can make their own channel. Anyone can say whatever the hell they want on camera and put it on the internet, and potentially thousands, if not millions of people could see it. And that is incredible. And I didn't grow up with that. So I only had Much Music, and I could only say, that's a job I want. That's how I'm gonna get this energy out of me and say something to the world, is on television. So that's the path I had to follow. You need to do some things that maybe you don't love so much in order to take the steps and get to the thing that you love a lot. So don't think that you can just now have this standard of, I want to be a TV host, or I want to be a writer, or I want to be a whatever, and that's all you can do. No, you might have to go work at a pizza place. You might have to go serve at a restaurant. You might have to go do an internship for free. You might have to go write about stupid crap if you want to be a writer, not what you really want to write about. But those are all going to be stepping stones to you eventually having your dream job. So never close an open door. If there's an open door in front of you saying, here's what you need to do right now with all that you have right now, then you need to go through that door and you need to do it. And it doesn't mean you're going to do it for the rest of your life. It means you're going to do it for right now. And then that's going to allow the new opportunity or the better opportunity to flow your way, because you're not being resistant and because you said yes to that other thing. And so I worked for non-for-profits as an event coordinator. I worked at a printing company as a salesperson. It was the worst job I've ever had. And that eventually led to me finding the audition for the show in Vancouver that I started at. And I hated that other job. But I left that other job to go start in television. And without that other job, I probably never would have seen the opportunity for the TV show in Vancouver. And the last thing you need to do in order to do what you love is really go with the flow, because everything is constantly changing. And you're gonna change, and your job is gonna change, and the people you work with are gonna change. And eventually you might find yourself there and you might not love it anymore. When I realized that what I was doing felt very easy and very safe and very comfortable, at that point in time, it wasn't really what I loved doing anymore. It wasn't challenging me, it wasn't exciting me, and I had to move on. And so the universe brought me the perfect opportunity to move on, and maybe not in the nicest way, because, you know, getting cut from a company because of financial cutbacks is kind of irritating. But at the same time, I didn't look at it like that. I saw it as an opportunity, and I, instead of resisting it and fighting for my job and getting mad at people, I was like, cool, see ya, I'm off to bigger and better things. So it's always going to be about your attitude and your perspective as well on situations. So with every opportunity, if we're talking about career, we're talking about jobs, you need to take what you can from that job and then use it for the next thing. And I feel like I've done that very, very well with, you know, working at Much Music for a little while, working in television for nearly a decade in general, and taking what I learned from that, and taking the platform that I gained from that, and taking the influence that I gained from that, and transferring it to what I wanted to do now, which I still don't even know what I want to do now. I mean, I'm really at this point going with the flow. I felt like when I worked in television, maybe I wasn't going with the flow as much as I could have been, because I was holding this idea in my mind of what I wanted my TV hosting job to be, and I sometimes found myself very inflexible and wanting to control and be a perfectionist because I wasn't going with the flow of what other people wanted at Much Music. And so I was a very easy person to work with, but I'm saying I made this difficulty in my mind, and I got stressed out, and I got anxious, and I got angry with the situations often within myself because I was being resistant and not going with the flow. And so I only recognize that now. If you're still kind of like, I don't know what I love, I don't know what I like, you're gonna figure it out. You do like something. You don't not like anything. But you just might not be thinking of it in terms of, I could make this a full-time job, or I could make this a passionate career. So just start thinking about that. If you want to leave comments or have any questions for me, please leave them below and I will answer you, I promise. And that's me on a Monday. The best part about doing these is, check this out. I'm still wearing my pajama pants.